Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
All right, let's get into it. You've got a check engine light glaring at you. And when you scan for codes, you get this jumble of seemingly random faults. It looks like a total mess, right? But what if I told you it's not random at all? What if it's a set of clues all pointing to one single culprit? Today, we're putting on our detective hats and we are gonna crack this case. So here's the mystery we're facing. 4 different error codes, all popping up at the same time. Now, the easy assumption is that you've got 4 separate problems, but that's rarely how it works. The real trick, the real art of diagnostics, is figuring out how these seemingly unrelated symptoms are all connected. That's how you find the real problem. Okay, so every good investigation starts with laying out the evidence. Let's take a look at the initial clues the car is giving us. These are the 4 trouble codes that started this whole thing. So right off the bat, you can see a pattern, right? P0171 and P0174. That's telling us the engine's running lean. It's getting way too much air and not nearly enough fuel. Then you've got P0308, a misfire on cylinder 8, which kind of makes sense with a lean condition. But then there's this weird one, P0180, a fuel temperature sensor. What's that got to do with anything? Well, that little outlier, that is our big clue. That's the one that's going to tie this whole case together. So let's zoom in on that one key piece of evidence. Forget the other codes for just a second. This one code, this P0180, is about to break this case wide open and turn this confusing mess into a straight line right to the solution. This is it. This is our break in the case. See, the other codes are just describing the symptoms, what's happening. The engine is lean, a cylinder is misfiring. But P0180, this one points us toward the why. It's the most important piece of evidence we have, and it's about to lead us straight to our prime suspect. So, what is P0180 actually telling us? Well, it means there's an electrical problem with a fuel temperature sensor. The computer's not getting a signal it can trust. But here's the absolutely critical detail. Look where it's located. It's inside the fuel tank, built into the fuel pump module itself. That location, that's everything. Okay, so how on earth does a bad temperature sensor in the fuel tank make the engine run lean and misfire? This is where we start connecting the dots. Let's follow the trail of evidence and see how all these pieces click together to reveal the real culprit. So right now, we've got 2 main theories. Theory 1, the sensor itself is the bad guy. It's faulty, it's sending junk data, and it's tricking the computer. Or, theory 2, the sensor isn't the villain at all. It's the victim. It's just a symptom of a much, much bigger problem that's taking it out. So which is it? Is it the cause or is it a symptom? Well, all the evidence is pointing overwhelmingly to theory number 2. That sensor failure is almost definitely a symptom, not the cause. And when you realize that, a beautiful, logical chain of events unfolds. It's like a line of dominoes just waiting to be tipped over. And here's how those dominoes fall. It all starts with the fuel pump. It's getting old, it's failing, and as it struggles, it gets hot. Really hot. And what's sitting right there with it? The temperature sensor. So the overheating pump cooks the sensor, and bam, there's your P0180 code. Now, because the pump is weak, it can't deliver enough fuel to the engine. Hello, P0171 and P0174 lean codes. And finally, with not enough fuel, cylinder 8 just can't fire properly, giving you that P0308 misfire. See, one single failure, 4 different codes. It's perfect. And with that clear, logical chain of evidence, we can now say with a very high degree of confidence, we're talking over 80% probability that our prime suspect is the entire fuel pump assembly. We've got our guy. But hey, a good detective never goes to trial on circumstantial evidence alone, no matter how strong it is. We have our prime suspect cornered. Now it's time to run the definitive tests that will prove our theory beyond any reasonable doubt. So here's our action plan. Yeah, we can check live data, we can look at the connector, but really, it all comes down to number 2, the fuel pressure test. This is the absolute priority. This is the test that's going to give us the smoking gun. And this is the moment of truth. When you hook up a fuel pressure gauge, a healthy pump will give you a nice, steady pressure even when you rev the engine. But our suspect, the failing pump, it's going to crack under pressure. The second you put it under load and ask it to deliver more fuel, that pressure is going to tank. It's going to drop like a rock. And that drop, that's the confession we've been waiting for. So, once that fuel pressure test confirms our theory, the investigation is officially closed. Now we can move on to the final part of the case, the resolution. Let's talk about the fix, what it's going to cost, and the consequences of not doing it.
The verdict is in, and it's simple. We're not just replacing a sensor, we're not just replacing the pump motor. The correct and final fix is to replace the entire fuel pump module. Let me show you why.
You see, this whole thing is one big assembly. It's got the pump itself, sure, but it also has the level sender that makes your gas gauge work, the little filter sock, and, of course, our key clue, the fuel temperature sensor. They all live together in that housing, and since the pump is what took out the sensor, you replace the whole shebang as one unit. Now, let's talk about the damage to the wallet. This one's not cheap, I'm not gonna lie. The part itself can be anywhere from $250 to $600, maybe even more depending on the car. Add in a few hours of labor to drop the fuel tank, and you're looking at a total bill somewhere in the ballpark of $600 to $1,400. I really need to be crystal clear on this next point. The severity level for this issue is high. This is not one of those I'll get to it later kind of repairs. You absolutely cannot put this off. And here's exactly why. If you keep driving, that lean condition can cause serious internal engine damage. We're talking burnt valves and damaged pistons. That constant misfire is dumping raw fuel into your exhaust, and it will literally melt your catalytic converter, which is a brutally expensive part to replace. And the most obvious reason? A failing pump will eventually become a failed pump, and it will leave you stranded on the side of the road, guaranteed. So you see, a check engine light isn't just an annoying light. It's the start of a mystery. It's your car sending you clues. And with a little bit of logic, you can piece together the evidence and find the real culprit. So the next time that light pops on, the question is, are you ready to solve the case?